My grandmother, Eleanor, was the matriarch of a sprawling, complicated family. When she passed away, we all gathered at her beautiful countryside estate, expecting a somber but straightforward reading of her will. I was her favorite grandchild, or so I thought. I'd spent countless summers with her, tending her rose garden and listening to her stories. She always told me, "Clara, this house, this land, it's our family's heart. It'll be yours to protect one day." So you can imagine my shock when her lawyer announced that the entire estate to house, the land, the investments, was left to my cousin Marcus, the golden boy. He was my uncle's son, a smooth-talking charmer who only visited Grandma on major holidays, always with a camera ready to capture his devotion. The rest of the family was stunned, but quickly fell in line. Whispers started circulating. Clara was never as close to Eleanor as she claimed. Marcus was always the responsible one. My own mother pulled me aside, her eyes filled with disappointment, telling me I should have tried harder, been better. I was ostracized overnight, painted as a greedy, delusional granddaughter. My heart didn't just break, it shattered. The betrayal cut deeper than any loss of inheritance. Marcus immediately moved into the estate and began making changes. He sold off antiques, cut down the ancient oak tree we used to have picnics under, and hosted lavish parties. He even sent me a glossy invitation to his housewarming. Each picture he posted online felt like a personal attack. Meanwhile, I was drowning. Alas, my family's support, my reputation, and the future I thought was mine. The grief was immense, not just for my grandmother, but for the family I thought I had. Alone and heartbroken, I started packing up my small apartment to move somewhere cheaper. In the back of a closet, I found an old shoebox filled with letters Grandma had sent me over the years. I sat on the floor and read them, tears streaming down my face. Then, I found it. Tucked into an envelope was a small, ornate silver key and a note in her familiar, elegant script. It read, "My dearest Clara, if you are reading this, then things have not gone as planned." The key opens the old writing desk in my study. The real truth is there. Trust no one but yourself. A surge of adrenaline hit me. I had to get back into that house. The next day, I drove to the estate. It was a Tuesday, and I knew Marcus would be at his golf club. I still had my old spare key to the back door, the one Grandma gave me for watering her plants. I prayed he hadn't changed the locks. He hadn't. My heart pounded as I slipped inside. The house felt alien, stripped of Grandma's warmth. I went straight to her study. The grand mahogany desk stood in the corner, just as I remembered. I used the silver key on a small, hidden drawer I never knew existed. Inside was a thick manila envelope. My hands trembled as I opened it. It contained 2 documents. Theirs was my grandmother's actual, legally notarized will dated just a month before she passed. In it, she left the entire estate to me, Clara, with a heartfelt letter explaining her decision. She wrote about our bond, our shared love for the home, and her faith in me to preserve the family legacy. She wanted me to have the security she never had. The second document was a stack of papers that made my blood run cold. A meticulously documented record of my Uncle Marcus's father siphoning money from the family business for years. Grandma had discovered his embezzlement scheme. He had been stealing from her, from all of us, for over a decade. The will Marcus had presented was a forgery. They hadn't just lied. They'd orchestrated a complete fabrication to ruin me and secure their stolen fortune. Suddenly, it all made sense. They didn't just want the money. They wanted to destroy my credibility so no one would ever believe me if I found out the truth. The pain of betrayal was quickly replaced by a cold, hard anger. They had underestimated me. They saw a quiet, heartbroken girl, not the granddaughter Eleanor had raised a fighter. A hysterical, emotional outburst they could easily dismiss. Instead, I took a page from my grandmother's book, Be Strategic. I hired the best fraud litigation lawyer in the state. We gathered our evidence, quietly and methodically. We got sworn affidavits from the notaries who had witnessed the real will. We even had a handwriting expert analyze the forged signatures. It was an open and shut case of fraud, conspiracy, and forgery. The day we filed the lawsuit was the last day of their charade. The news hit the family like a bomb. My uncle and Marcus were served with papers during one of their extravagant garden parties. The scandal was immediate and spectacular. Their assets were frozen. The feds got involved because of the financial fraud. My uncle's respectable reputation was annihilated. All those family members who had shunned me suddenly started calling, flooding my phone with apologies and excuses. We never believed him. Clara, we always knew you were her favorite. It was pathetic. Oh, I didn't answer a single call. The legal battle was messy, but the outcome was never in doubt. The court nullified the forged will and instated the real one. I was declared the rightful heir to my grandmother's entire estate. My uncle and Marcus faced serious criminal charges. Their lives were ruined, not by me, but by their own greed and arrogance. The day I moved into my grandmother's house, Oz, officially this time, was the quietest, most satisfying victory of my life. I walked through the rooms, no longer feeling like a ghost, but like the guardian my grandmother knew I could be. I sold off every last tacky thing Marcus had brought into the house. I even sent my mother and the other Fairweather family members a very polite, professionally written notice from my lawyer, informing them they were no longer welcome on the property. My real family, I realized, wasn't about blood. It was about loyalty, truth, and love, things my uncle and cousin knew nothing about. The estate is thriving now. I replanted the oak tree, and the rose garden has never looked better. So, here's the lesson. When someone shows you their true colors, don't try to repaint them. Never, ever underestimate the power of a woman with a key and a box of old letters. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't loud and dramatic, but quiet, legal, and absolutely devastating. Thanks for listening to my story. If you love messy family tales with a satisfying twist, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more.